guys, today I'm gonna do a video talking about the new but used Infiniti Q50 Redsport 400 that I bought. I paid $45,000 Canadian, and it has 37,000 miles. So in kilometers, that's around 62,000. I bought it from a dealer. The dealer had the car leased for around 4 years, I think, and then the person returned it back, and then they sold it to me basically. So it's fully insured, 97% insured, so like bumper to bumper until 2026, so that's a while. So that covers pretty much everything, and they even like tow my car if there's an issue with it, with no fees basically. That was included in the price of buying the car, so I got a decent deal because these cars are pretty rare. That's why the car is tagged. There was like only 2 or 3 for sale around 250 kilometers radius. So not many for sale. I guess people are hanging on them, or they just don't really buy them. One of both. It has 400 horsepower, 350 torque. Apparently they were underrated. I guess it's to make sure they make those 400 horsepower no matter the circumstances. Heat, cold, or just altitude and stuff. So I guess that's why it makes more to the crank than advertised, I think. For my non-expert knowledge. But besides that, it comes with pretty much everything you would expect. This thing is also replacing my Honda Accord, which I made quite a few videos of. I also made videos of this new car. You might have seen those, like launch control and the exhaust sound. It's the stock exhaust from the Redsport, so it has a bit different exhaust than a base model, but it's not loud by any means compared to what I used to have. I guess it's one of my complaints about this car. I just wish, because it's a Redsport, it's supposed to be like I don't know, like sportier, angrier and stuff. So I would think that it would be like louder for some reason, but it's not. It's still like a luxurious vehicle, so I guess people don't really, those people don't really like loud cars like I do. So other things, full LED, HID lights, of course. I'm gonna be comparing it to, not fully, but in some parts, to my Honda Accord V6 2011 that I had before. They're not really comparable cars, but I guess who cares? Like, that was my previous car, so I'm gonna compare it to it. Who knows, maybe someone who has an Accord like I had is gonna maybe think about buying this car and be interested. It's certainly like the Redsport gets different wheels, bigger brakes. It gets like a good amount of goodies. I think it's worth it, unless you're someone who likes really to like mod your car yourself. Then don't get a Redsport, because it's a bit like, it has different wheels. It has some things that someone who has a bare bone Q50 would do. like change wheels, brakes, a tune, make more horsepower. But this is basically a baby GTR, I would say, because the GTR has the VR35, I think, and this has a VR30. They're both twin turbo V6, probably the same engine, a bit bigger, more displacement, so more power from factory. This has also what you heard is the when I cross a line on the road, like for say I fell asleep and cross the line, it would make a sound like this. Yeah, beep beep. I can deactivate all these features with one button. I think it's really good. That's a really good idea. Because normally, if I put it on, when I cross that line and it makes that beep, the car steers itself back into the lane. And that's not really something I like. Because sometimes I live in Quebec, Canada, and our roads are ass, so sometimes I have to like dodge potholes and stuff, so I cross lines when there's no cars. So that would be annoying to have the car correct myself, you know, for those situations. It also brakes by itself when you have the A's assist, I guess it's called. Brakes by itself if someone is braking right in front of you to prevent a collision. The lights also turn right and left to get a better view when it's really dark outside, and you turn the corner. It helps you see forward and ahead of time, I guess. What I can say. The infotainment is quite dated. A lot of people mention that in reviews I've seen, because I watched reviews before buying the car. But I don't really mind it because I come from a 2011 Honda Accord, so my expectations for technology and infotainment weren't like really picky, you know. I just want a GPS that works, and this has touch screens and also physical buttons that you can touch, and those will allow you to do pretty much everything you want. That's another good thing. Like, you have options on how to use the infotainment system, which is a big plus for me. The interior materials finish are pretty good overall. Some bits of aluminum, I think. Some leather, I think it's real leather. It feels nice to the touch. And the Redsport of 2018 comes with like red stitching on seats, and it also adjusts the bolsters, so it tightens you for when you turn corners and stuff. You can adjust that. Lumbar support and all the other seating adjustments you see normally in cars. The one I bought is white. You might see a picture in the video. It has red calipers, 4 piston in the front and 2 in the back. And that's one thing, I'm gonna compare it to the Honda Accord, straight up. Like, the difference in braking is just like another complete world. Like, it's just insane how this thing brakes. Like, at first it was weird because it engages really quick, it bites quick, and you have really you have to modulate your braking to not brake too hard, because I don't like to brake hard. It really uses up the brakes and pads and stuff. So I like to go soft on them. I'm that type of person. Unless I go to the drag strip or like go quick and I need to stop, then I'll smash the brakes. But it's pretty peppy. It's more responsive than I would expect, because I'm used to a V6 naturally aspirated. So a V6 and just a naturally aspirated car is really responsive by just the fact that there's no turbos, no lag, no delay. You get the power instantly. V6s that are naturally aspirated are really linear and smooth. This V6 is the same. It just has a turbo, so it's a bit. It acts like a turbo car, you know. Low down, you have some torque, instant torque, because these cars are pretty torquey. But it really gives you a really good punch when you're up there in the RPMs. That's really where it's at, being that it's turbo. I would say around 4,000 RPM or something, around there. It is really well, and gives you like a really good shove. The first time I launched this car was on video, the launch control video I made, and I was like trying to hold on the steering. I was like, holy shit, man. It's not even comparable to the Accord in terms of power, even though the Accord made like 280 horsepower or something. So also this car, for me, it's not really a downside. I'm used to the Honda Accord. I would say the Honda Accord rides smoother in some sense, like it's less stiff. This car is really stiff. Like right now I'm riding in standard mode, which is like everything's soft basically, and it's pretty stiff, but it's different, but it's really stiff to what I'm used to. It feels like a bit like I had a friend who had a G35 Infiniti with coilovers. It feels like that, but they were like a good brand of coilovers, so it was smooth. It's really smooth and composed, but it's stiffer, you know. Then I can put it in Sport Plus or Personal. Personal is like when I choose myself my settings and stuff. I'll show you a video of how everything looks. When I get to stop, I'm gonna film a quick video of the interior for you guys. For those who are looking to buy this car, not this car particularly, but this model, like a Q50 Redsport. Keep in mind the interior is really similar to a normal Q50. There's just bits and pieces that are different. This one came with a really good stereo. It's good. It's really loud. If you use Bluetooth, it's really loud actually. That's one thing I really like. It's loud, punchy. Of course, like most cars, you get like overload of bass. Like most cars are like that. They just put a ton of bass so that people think it sounds good. But I'm not an audiophile, and I would say it's a really good system. It's better than the other Honda Accord. The Honda Accord had a really good system also for 2011, and what this car was priced at. I think it was a good system. This is obviously better. It's punchy, and yeah, I really enjoy it. I enjoy the fact that it's Bluetooth. There's no Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's not a deal breaking for me. Like, I just use a phone mount and use Google Map. It's not a big deal actually. I'll just give it some go right now. Hey, that's something like you can like get to jail speed really quick. It's engaging. The steering was weird at first when I first tried this car because it's electronic, so that means when you're going really slow in a parking lot or something, it turns like it's really loose, like it's flopping around and stuff. But it's good if you have like a tight turn to make. You don't have to like force the steering or anything. It just feels like really easy for casual people, you know. You can feel though as you go faster and turn corners, it gets stiffer, even in standard mode. I would say, like right there, I got a small corner. It feels like there's like the first bits is kind of loose and then it stiffens up. If I put everything in Sport Plus and Dynamic, then it will downshift for me when I brake and stuff. It's not really something I use. I prefer to use the paddle shifters because this has paddle shifters. Every Red Sport has. There's no manual, so it's paddle shifters. The paddle shifters are responsive, but only when you like floor it, like or are into the car. Like if you're going slow and not really pressing on the gas aggressively, and then you shift, you're gonna feel like the delay and the kick. Transmission's gonna kick. It's gonna kick also when you're going like when you give it like a lot of gas. It's gonna kick also, but it's a nice kick, like because it feels like snappy and engaging. That's what I like. I don't want it to be like so smooth that you don't feel anything. A lot of people are saying that the transmission is like the limiting factor with this car. I would agree, but not at the same time, because most sedans with power, like around these marks, like the Stinger, don't have a DSG, so that's not really a big problem. I don't mind not having the DSG. I really don't mind. Because when I floor it, it shifts quick, and that's what I want. It has 7 speeds. It's also the gear ratios for the transmission are shorter, so that means they're gonna shift more often with this car than the regular Q50. Like I'm gonna like do like a pull and shift myself with the paddles. You might see me like move a bit, like it lost some traction there. I felt like the back spinning a bit. The car, I must mention also that something I didn't mention. The car is also all-wheel drive. There's a rear-wheel drive version also, but not really popular in Canada due to weather conditions and stuff. Yeah, that all-wheel drive is working really well from what I've seen in the rain and stuff, turning corners. Like I was going pretty fast around that corner earlier, and it handled that well. It felt composed. A couple of times I tried to floor it in rain just to see how it reacts, to give me an idea during snow and winter times, just to give me an idea of how the car would respond when it spins. Because it's good to know when you got a new car to not crash yourself and die. And I noticed that the because this car is all-wheel drive, but this system works like it's primarily rear-wheel drive, and when you lose traction on the rear, the front is gonna help you out with some traction also. So the all-wheel drive, I think the system is called Aseta, something like that. And yeah, that works pretty well. I've seen a couple of times when I floored it in the rain. Today or the days, the rear wheel was spinning. I like to like control a bit of the car, but otherwise it was pretty easy to handle. The rear spun and the front, you can feel the front like working after that, and then I got traction and could like go full throttle without any problem. Like a mini GTR in terms of power and engine, it's a smaller engine, but in terms of size and weight, I think that weighs more than a GTR, I'm pretty sure, because this weighs like 3,900 pounds, I think. So the GTR probably is lower than that, like around the 3,500, 3,200 pounds. That would be more around the lines of a GTR weight. But I guess in most situations it don't matter, especially nowadays with like how they develop a car. We're not really limited anymore with weight. There's ways to like make that work in a way. Like there, I shifted and wasn't really flowing it, but the car is just like a old automatic. It felt like that way. I don't mind it. Like I don't shift when I go slow. I just put it in drive and don't really bother with this. That's not really the point of using paddle shifters, I think. On the Accord, I had like a muffler delete and stuff. Something I wouldn't do with this car. That would be pretty dumb to do a muffler delete on a $40,000 car, you know, especially a used $40,000 car. That would be pretty stupid. But big brakes, like I was saying. Black mirror caps. Okay, so I'm back, guys. You saw the exterior, now the interior. It has those paddle shifters right there. Those are apparently magnesium. They feel really good when you use them. They're really, they have like a nice click. The car has, like I said, the audio like this is using Spotify basically. So if you have Spotify on your phone, it works really well for that. There's also different menus for navigation, home, different things that are working well. Without issues, I didn't have any problem with stuff crashing or anything, so that's a good thing. The window switches, which I think are really cheap. It's probably the cheapest thing in the interior. These have like a little like film over the plastic bits, and that like wears off. Like the driver's side, you don't really see it right now, but driver's side has that issue already, which is like quite annoying for a new car to have that problem. Or not a new car, but it's really recent. Still has the foot handbrake thing right there. This knob controls the navigation system, zooming, moving around. Audio system is pretty good. It came with these Bose covers. It sounds really good. Everything here is with like fairly thick leather. Feels smooth. Roof. Okay. Not panoramic, but just like a roof thingy. I wanted a 2018 because they have the black lining on top, which I think really looks good. Makes it really dark inside. I like that. Like the red stitching over here is like exclusive to the Redsport. They get those around here also. The seats. Seat belts are electronic. When you put it on, it just hugs you after. When you open the door, the car is also backing the seat and moving up the steering wheel, which is electronically adjustable. Also one of the features I like the most is the auto dimming mirrors. I think the side mirrors and the middle mirror is auto dimming. I think it's like one of the best features. It's really useful for when you're driving on the highway and you don't get blinded by the lights of people behind. Put the thing on the left. It allows you to shift, and then it just lets you shift whenever you want. It doesn't try to like do it for you, which is really good. One thing I was like surprised and that I liked a bit less is the storage space inside. It's pretty spacious interior, but there's not many storage places. So I got myself a phone mount because I had literally nowhere to put my phone besides putting it here. But if you have 2 drinks, you're fucked. Or you put it there, which is not really accessible for you if you need to use it for Google Map or something. It's better to have a phone mount. With this car, it's really, I think it's essential. There's also speakers up top here, I think. Like Bose speaker up there. The finishing is really, it's neat. It's this car is like brand new, to be honest. Like, there's no tear or wear on it besides that little thing on top that I said. It's push to start. It also unlocks when you put your hand on the handle, which is neat. It also has lights on those handles. Only the fronts do that. What could I say else? I didn't try the back seat, but it looks like it's comfortable. There's room. An adult could get behind without any trouble and fit, unless you're like 6'5", which is not most people. It's roomy, spacious, not that much compared to my Honda Accord, which was in a coupe. A coupe car is also like has bigger doors. Also, this thing I noticed that there's not much room to get in compared to I don't know if it's just me that isn't used to a sedan, but like I'm gonna show you guys. Like, you will see what I'm talking about. There's not like I'm hearing that I'm trying to get out and I got this. I'm backed off pretty a lot, I would say, but I'm not tall, and when I get out, there's this that also is kind of blocking me. That's it. So yeah, just getting. Notice this, that's pretty big. Like the cabin, like getting in is fairly narrow. And when I get in, I often get stuck on this or just end up bumping it, I guess. It's not really a big deal for me, it's just weird. I guess it's getting used to a sedan, I would guess. Let me know, guys, if you have a sedan yourself, or in French, a berline. And let me know, yeah, if it's a struggle with those cars in general, or if it's just for this one. I tried a lot of cars before. I didn't have myself or own many cars, but all the cars I tried, from what I'm remembering, it's not really an issue I encountered in other cars. Maybe getting in once is not enough to like really notice, but for this, it's an issue. I'm only 5'8", 5'9". I couldn't imagine someone who's being like 6 feet tall or even higher. That would be a struggle. So yeah, I'm gonna conclude the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching. And also, if you have any other suggestions on content to do with this car, or anything you would like to know, or any ideas, I'm up to. Could also be for another type of video. I don't mind. Just looking for some ideas of content, no matter what it is. And I'll see you next time, guys.